Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome to the video. So we're going to be looking at this weird tank today, the A25 HH1, I guess. And what the heck is this thing? It's a tier 4 British light tank, and you can get it, I guess, from opening boxes and maybe from the terminal during holiday ops. I opened up 12 boxes and I got this thing along with that other tier 3 Sahariano Italian tank, so I got both of those. But you know, this thing is kind of an odd looking vehicle, but yeah, I mean, it's fun to play, honestly. I had no idea what it was up until now, but I gave it a shot, and the view range is actually really bad on it for a light tank. Like, compared to the looks, right, at tier 4 and even like the Panzer 38 NA or whatever that vehicle is called, this thing has way less view range. I do have it not fully set up. In other words, like, the crew is not stacked and all that. But I do have rations on it, so actually it's just the crew. But the accuracy is not bad. What this thing has going for it is the insane pen, I would feel like, at tier 4, like 121 millimeters of pen. And then the APCRs, it's 145. And I feel like this is a lot of pen at tier 4. And then look at the shell velocity, even on the APs. 1,341 meters a second. APCRs, it's exactly the same. Usually for APCRs, it's a little quicker, but yeah, it's the same, surprisingly. Look at this game, though. It's 9-0. I was playing this game with my dad, by the way, and he actually had a terrible game because their team died so fast, partly because I'm just annihilating them all, right? But unfortunately, when you play as a TD, especially from when my dad played, all these people ended up here, and there's just no shots for him, right? And I totally get that. Like, I was trying to play in the tier 5, the new Italian TD line. I was playing the tier 5, and oh my god, man, I couldn't do any damage because every single game I got into, my team was just absolutely stomping the enemy team. That, you know, I couldn't even... I'm going to pause right here, okay? I couldn't even do any damage, right? And you can see where my dad is. Like, this game ends in under 3 minutes, guys. Look at the time, 12:25. I know we're in a tier 3-4 game on mines, so likely this game is going to go pretty quick. But this is just... I have no words for how quickly this game ends. Like, it's just absurd, right? I mean, 12 minutes and 25 seconds on the timer, and it's 14-0. But before I make this dive, I just want to say this to you guys: if you're in a situation, right, where it's 14-0, and you're basically full HP, and you're up over the top of a tank like this, and you don't jump off and ram that tank, there's something wrong with you. Like, if you do not do this, if you do not sacrifice your tank to jump on top of an enemy tank, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you should always do this. I mean, it's just, it's always worth it, right? So here we go. I know you guys are waiting for this. I jump on top of the Sahariano there and put my gun in the air, take a nice shot, and I didn't even die. And yeah, A25, double H1, whatever, HH. I don't know what this thing stands for, but I'm sure you guys could figure it out. The game is so quick, I can't even talk about this tank, right? It's just insane. But anyway, if you're playing tank destroyers, guys, I'd just like to say this. If you're playing tank destroyers and you are getting into the games where you're not doing any damage, likely it's because your team is annihilating the enemy team. Do not feel bad. Like, that happens to everybody. Happens to me. Happens to my dad. And my dad's a big TD player, right? He enjoys hard-hitting tanks, and usually those are tank destroyers. So he likes playing tank destroyers, but he has, you know, limited patience like me, so he likes to try and push ahead. The problem is sometimes in these turretless, or I should say, yeah, I guess turretless tank destroyers, you have a big problem with sometimes biting off more than you can chew. You move up a little bit, and then you end up getting spotted, and now you're in a situation where you have, you know, you're a turretless tank destroyer, you have to turn your whole tank to try and aim at people. You have no armor, and then you end up dying. And it's just so frustrating because you have to try and find that balance between when you're supposed to push in and when you should, hold and or just stay back entirely because, if you lost one whole side of the map, right? Tank destroyers, and I've heard Skill say this multiple times, really, the best games you're going to have in tank destroyers is when your team is losing or when your team loses an entire side or leaves one side of the map open, right? Because you are relying on an enemy team pushing in order for you to do large amounts of damage. So just keep that in mind, guys. This happens to everybody. My dad didn't have a great game here. He maybe got one shot off because look at this, 15-0 in 3 minutes, guys. But it works out well for light tanks because light tanks can get their guns up into the fight quick. Anyway, this tank, guys, to summarize, no view range, average mobility at tier 4, really insane shell velocity, and really insane penetration. It's not showing because I think it's paused or whatever there. But yeah, insane penetration at this tier, guys. I mean, 145 millimeters of penetration, I believe it was on the APCRs, is like tier 6 penetration usually on gold rounds. So you're not going to have any problem penetrating people if you're going to play this vehicle, but just keep in mind the view range is garbage, so I wouldn't try and play it like a standard light tank or run binocs on it. Like, I have rations on this thing, and I just, for my crew, I'll show you guys, because I believe I saved the emplates for this. I probably, let me see if I open them up here. I did. So this ended up being a mastery, actually. With 1,128 damage and 2 kills, right? We only did 52 spotting damage, but look at the view range. So you guys can see what I was talking about. 384 view range, and I'm running this thing with rations, optics, vents, and 67% on situational awareness. So it's just insane to me, the lack of view range, because on the looks, and I want to say, I don't think you can see it here, but the Panzer 38 NA, I have like 445 view range. I think it's even like 450 on the Panzer, and that's without binocs. Maybe there's binocs on that one. I doubt it, but on the looks, I know I only run it with like vents and optics, man, and it's like 448 view range. I do have recon and situational awareness full, but yeah, it's just insane to me that the difference in view range. But if you got this tank, guys, I would recommend playing it. I mean, why not, right? The dispersion isn't crazy, but the aim time is decent, and it actually reloads very quickly. Like, I wouldn't look at this DPM, man. It's tier 4. It feels like a quick reloading tank. Like, it just feels snappy, in my opinion. And yeah, I was running low noise exhaust on this thing. I probably should just run something else here, honestly, like even aim tuner or something. But it does get me a decent amount of concealment if I do actually have to play this thing like a light tank. Yeah, Harry Hopkins, that's what it stands for. A25 Harry Hopkins 1, guys. So that's what the double H stands for. And yeah, so here you go. The A25 Harry Hopkins. We'll close with this. Look at this, all red, and no one died here. My dad got 1 shot off, but he got a kill. So actually, I think he got 2 shots off. He probably had 1 full damage shot and then a kill or something. And here I am up top, guys. 752 experience, but this was a mastery. And this could just be because like no one plays this tank or whatever. I think this is a newer tank, but correct me if I'm wrong. I would like to think that just because XVM doesn't even have statistics on the damage numbers yet. Usually this would be colored, but it's not. So I guess this is also a new vehicle, and maybe that's why I got the mastery on it, because everyone that got it, maybe they just didn't perform well, or because there's really not any kind of statistics to go on, so it ended up being a mastery. But in any case, just look at this, guys. Like, this is Holiday Ops in a nutshell, this end result on the team score. So let me get into the detailed report. I'll let you guys go. We did make 21K, actually like 26K because of the credit reserve, and we fired 22 shots, landed 20 of them, and penned 20 of them. So that pen does seem to pay off, clearly. Basically no assist damage and battle duration 2 minutes and 42 seconds. So I'm not even going to say anything more about that. I will just close with that. Hope you guys are enjoying Holiday Ops, and I will catch you for the next one. Bye-bye now.